Hi everyone, welcome to our week 1 roundup video. I hope you've enjoyed the first week. It's been great connecting with you in the discussion forums and on social media, so let's keep that up. In the first week we gave an overview of the course and introduced you to dinosaurs, and one of the things that we brought up was to do with classification. So with classification, the main thing to bear in mind is that we're relying on the idea that animals that look anatomically similar are more closely related to ones that are less anatomically similar. But there are complicating factors, because sometimes you get anatomy that looks very similar but actually has different origins. So that's so-called convergent evolution. So we have to be wary of this, but this general concept we apply in doing our classification. An important thing about classification is that it's never set in stone. So I work particularly on the origin of birds, the origin of flight, and actually our understanding of the family tree of early birds and their closest relatives is actually always changing as we have new information. So whilst it doesn't change dramatically, it does change, and so it's important to kind of always be open to new data that can, revise, revisit our hypotheses. So a recent development in the last time since the first edition of the course was that a different classification for dinosaurs was proposed. So traditionally, what you'll find in this course is that we're talking about theropods and sauropodomorphs as a group forming Seritia, and having Ornithischia as a separate group from them. Well, there was a recent classification that basically revived an old proposal that actually Ornithischians are more closely related to theropods in a group called Ornithoscalida, and that sauropodomorphs were actually out by themselves. So this is something that does have support. Some follow-up studies from the original study actually showed that it is got support for it. But in terms of rewriting the dinosaur textbooks, well, we'll have to wait and see. More work is being done on the area of early dinosaur evolution, early dinosaur relationships, and that work is going to be crucial to saying which of those hypotheses is going to be the best supported. And ultimately that's really crucial, because depending on which version of the family tree you have has different implications with what happened to dinosaurs as they evolved. There was a cool question about T-Rex's tiny arms, and those animals, the tyrannosaurs, their arms get smaller over time. So the tyrannosaurids have smaller arms than earlier tyrannosaurs, such that things like Tyrannosaurus, really their arms weren't doing a lot, and they're kind of seen to be what we call a vestigial structure, something that the animal has but doesn't really have much of a function. We'll talk more about vestigial structures in the context of theropod arms in week 3, so stay tuned for that then. And in the meantime, in week 2, you can find more about T-Rex and tyrannosaurs. Next week, I'm going to be in the US for an annual vertebrate paleontology conference. So me, my students, and my collaborators will be presenting their latest work that they've been doing. So that's a really important part of the field's calendar, because as well as finding out about the latest developments, we can all meet, chat, and try and move the field forward. So I'll be there next week, and that's where I'll be giving my week 2 roundup. So in the meantime, I hope you enjoy week 2. Please keep asking lots of questions, and I'll check in again from the States. Until then, see you later.